Welcome to Sex Savvy, where nothing is off limits. I'm Kimberly Resnick Anderson, your host and creator of Sex Savvy. I've been helping couples and individuals achieve optimal sexual health for more than 25 years. I am ready to share my unique insights and sex-positive approach with the world. We'll talk about hang-ups, kinks, fantasies, and function, what's hot, what's not, and most importantly, how to become sex savvy. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Sex Savvy. I'm your host, Kimberly Resnick Anderson. This is part one of a two-part episode on dating in Los Angeles, what it's like to be single in the big city. And I have three guests today who are going to be talking about hookup apps as the primary method of meeting people. These hookup apps and dating apps are here to stay. My guests are going to educate you today on which apps are their favorites and why. They're going to be talking about the pros and cons of Tinder versus Bumble versus Hatch versus Grindr versus OkCupid. If you're under 35, you've probably heard of all of these apps. If you're over 35, perhaps not. They're going to be talking about whether or not they've been catfished, whether they've been ghosted, or whether they've ghosted someone else. The ladies will be talking about the creepy vibes they sometimes get from online interactions and how they decide whether or not it's safe to meet up with someone in real life. They're going to be talking about how the sex works and whether it's satisfying when you hook up with a stranger for sex. They're going to be talking about how dating and meeting someone's friends and family is actually more intimate to them than having sex. They're going to talk about whether they prefer hookup apps or the old-fashioned organic connections that people make on their own. They're going to be sharing their insights, their escapades, their horror stories, and so much more as I interview them about the role of these dating apps in their lives currently. I recruited a bunch of people to consider as guests for this episode, and I selected my three favorites, one man and two women, because I thought that these three are great examples of people who use these apps in a savvy way, who really are aware of the trends, the benefits, the drawbacks, the safety risks, and have great insight into the psychology around these apps and the role they play in people's lives. So in just a moment, you're going to be meeting my male guest, Morgan, and my two female guests, Kelsey and Mia. Please share your stories. If you met your soulmate, if you got married to someone you met on a hookup app, let me know. Also, let me know about your disasters and your mishaps. I'll be sharing some of these in episode 2. And without further ado, let's meet Morgan, Kelsey, and Mia. I'm here today with three LA singles who know the dating scene inside and out. So I'm going to welcome you each one by one. Morgan, welcome to Sex Savvy.
Thank you. I made the cut.
You made the cut indeed. You are how old?
I'm 38.
And you are actively seeking dates, friends, sex on hookup apps.
Yeah, all the above.
All the above. Okay. Kelsey, welcome.
Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. And you are actively looking for someone to be friends with, sleep with, marry?
Sure.
All the above?
I wouldn't say looking, but I do like a good conversation every now and then.
And are you open to a relationship?
If it happened, yes.
Okay.
But my standards are just so high.
Okay. Mia, welcome to Sex Savvy.
Hi there.
You are 25?
Yeah.
And are you actively using apps as well?
Yeah, I peruse.
You peruse. All right. So let's start by having each of you share an overall impression, trends that you've experienced personally or noticed online about hookup apps and dating apps in general. Why don't you go first, Morgan?
What have I experienced? Tinder, I'm so over it, but I have two friends that got married off Tinder, so there must be something very magical about Tinder. but I feel like Tinder's lost that magic.
Why? What changed? What's different?
I don't know. It's gross. It became gross.
Did you say it's gross?
Yeah, I think
Kelsey says Tinder's gross.
Yeah, before
She's not wrong.
Yeah, before Hinge and Bumble and Raya, I think Tinder had soul to it, and now it's gross.
What do you mean by gross?
It's just like a sex app. It's like nobody cares. Nobody tries. Nobody even tries to have a conversation. They just expect sex out of you.
Would you agree, Mia? Yeah, absolutely. So if someone's on Tinder, they're basically looking to get laid?
Yeah.
You agree,
And they
Morgan?
don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy, so every app we're looking to get laid on, so. But, you know, as far as like
Standards are a little lower on Tinder.
Yeah, the lower standards.
So what are the apps that you guys like now that you use, if not Tinder?
I like Bumble, Hinge. Hinge has been like a new Bumble. Yeah.
Hinge is good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Bumble. In my limited experience, because I'm an old married woman, is Bumble where the women are sort of in control?
They have to say the first word.
I have definitely like matched on many people and just let it sit there because I just once you match with them, I kind of just like, actually I don't really care about you. I thought I liked you for the moment I was scrolling.
Yeah, you like reconsider. You're like, is it really worth like doing that first interaction?
Yeah.
So a match just means that you clicked on each other?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You like okayed each other.
Okayed each other. And then you are able to communicate if you choose. What is the action like? Like, do you get one connection a day or 20 or 50?
It depends. I mean, I think you only find out if you matched when you swipe yes on that person. Mm-hmm. But you can get a lot of those. You can get none. I mean, I had for about 6 months, or maybe for 30 days, I had the trial of seeing before who said yes on you and just looked through them just this guy, I think he's really just fully judge mode where I'm like, I would never say yes on that guy. But that's that just became unhealthy. And it would also be so many men that would say yes that it's almost like, do they care at all? It would be people who are nothing like me.
Right. Are there some people who just swipe on everyone?
It feels
Click everyone.
Yeah, there's definitely those people. You might see them again sometimes too.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that more than once?
Well, if you say no to them and then you see them again, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So if you say no to them, they can still try to click with you in the future? Can you block people?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely block people. But I think the algorithm after a while reserves you people, especially if you haven't had matches in a while. I think it tries to keep serving you. There's more people, don't forget about that.
Don't forget about John.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it's sometimes out of frustration where you don't have enough matches and then you just get annoyed and you start just going like that.
Has that happened to you, Morgan?
Oh, it's happened a lot where it's there's no matches, it's annoying and whatever, just do this because then a match will come up and it'll be some attention.
So does it come in fits and starts?
Yeah, it's a moody thing. Sometimes there's I want to really, find someone that really I like. And then sometimes it's just whatever, I haven't had a match, I'm just going to keep swiping.
So it's just like a numbers game, like a batting
numbers
average?
game, and then you get a match, and you're like, whatever, I don't like that person, so whatever. But even that little bit of haha, they matched with me. I have self-worth now.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you see someone's profile, do you just look at the picture?
No, I definitely look through the whole profile.
You do?
Yeah, I like to see what they say about themselves.
So you do look at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and is that what, in terms of how you choose, what weight do you give the profile versus the photo?
Well, the thing is, it depends on the type of photo too. Are they posting legitimate, nice photos that maybe a friend took of them and it's a candid moment, or are they selfies at the gym? Here's me, on when they're trying to look outside of a fucking private jet, here I am. Where they're just trying way too hard.
So would that be a negative?
That would be douchey.
Automatic
status.
skip.
My private jet photo is not good. I rented that jet for that purpose.
It's like, I don't know, where they think that that's
because so many
got
guys
clout.
do that.
Oh, so many.
Why do they think that that's attractive?
Because they think it's attractive. They're like, I'm fucking cool.
That's what they're trying to attract, is someone who's going to be like, oh my God, you have a private jet. I'm so impressed.
Really?
But
then
that's like the
get
bait.
mad at you for that.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like,
are they?
So you're just attracted to like
to the money.
And you're like, why are you trying to set me up to fail, man?
Exactly. That's funny.
The game playing is like,
So who has the advantage, men or women?
on dating apps?
Yeah.
I'd say
Definitely
women.
Women.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Morgan?
Yeah, totally. I don't know, but I think even for the most attractive guy, he's probably got at most maybe 12 to 13 matches in a day, which is very high. Like mine would be more like 3 or 4, where I think a woman can come back with 100 matches in a day, which is a high amount.
Have you ever had 100 in a day, Mia?
Not in a day.
Have you had
That's excessive.
30 in a day?
I would say 30 in a day.
How about you, Kelsey?
On Bumble, I had, like, during that trial, I had like 50
A day.
in one day.
Wow.
Like in my first like 3 hours.
What?
And that's just
new meat.
New meat. And
Right?
it probably put me
Yeah.
on the map
When-
like right away.
Yeah, when you're like fresh to an app, because I have a habit of deleting them and then I'll have
Me
like
too.
a moment of boredom and then you like re-upload. And when you re-upload and put back your profile, then it's like fresh. Like you're just getting tons
You're
of matches
all
when you're.
fucking
So that's
Yeah.
that's a technique. That's a thing people could do. Take their thing down and then put it back up to get more action.
I did notice something that I found extremely peculiar. I matched with, now he's one of my friends. This is when I was on Tinder, like, God, maybe 2.5 years ago or something. I joined Tinder, thought it was disgusting. But in that month, I met my friend Paul. And I told him, I was like, because, it connects to your Facebook, kind of. Like, it tells you who you have mutual friends with. And for me, it said I had 60 friends in common with him. And I was like, wow, we know a lot of the same people. This is crazy. And for his side, it told the truth, which was like 2 people. 2 people. And I was like, that's really weird. It, for me, is counting all of our like extended, like just one removed mutual friends. And for him, it's just the actual people. Because when I finally added him on Facebook after we became friends, we just had 2 people in common.
Wow.
Oh,
And I even screenshot it and sent it to him. And I was like, is this trying to make like men look better?
definitely.
So that a woman feels like more comfortable. I was like, this has to be a conspiracy.
Has that happened to you, Mia?
No, I also don't use Tinder because
Right.
of the raunchiness of it.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't use it at all?
Not my crowd.
So
pretty
let's
gross.
talk about Hinge. What is that?
It's pretty much just
It's like a
more,
chill.
yeah, like a more
Why
chill
it's
Tinder.
I like it because you can see a person's picture and you can like it and comment. So you can
Yeah.
you can involve your personality and your
Even if they don't swipe or click on you?
yeah. So I can go through. I could see your picture, your
Okay.
podcast picture. I'm like, oh, look at this intelligent podcaster. I can heart it and be like, oh, what podcast are you doing? How is it going? So it's like there's a bit of personality that can be
Interesting.
Which-
You get a notification that somebody
Yeah.
matched with you, or somebody wants to match with you.
Got it. Then you can decide if you
yeah.
want to.
You can like,
Yeah.
and which has actually been very successful for me. Where because I'm not David Hasselhoff right off the bat in my pictures, so I can say something with my clever-ness.
Yes,
and
your
it's
wit and charm.
Yeah, and it's actually gotten me
Laid. It's actually gotten you laid.
And
It
allows
has gotten me laid.
I feel like it also allows, like, a reason I like it is, I don't go after super fucking hot guys. I also don't go after like really ugly guys. I just like am really based on how they make me feel. And when I get, a notification that a guy wants to match with me and I feel because of the certain things that they liked or responded to, I feel like seen in a way.
Right.
Where you don't usually feel seen on most dating apps because it really is like I could write in my profile like I fucking hate men, blah blah, and they would never see it because they don't read.
They don't read it. Yeah, I hear that a lot.
I could literally just like go ham and say some of the craziest shit and they would never see it.
Why do you think people don't read the profiles?
On other specific apps,
Yeah.
I mean, Hinge, I feel like everybody reads because there's all these weird, funny questions, and it's an opportunity to be funny.
It's also the layout. You have, if to view all pictures, there is like broken up by actual, like what your profile is. So like if you want to scroll to the bottom, which I need to see every picture.
Yeah,
I'm not like a 1 in 10.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to scroll to the bottom, you have to pass that person's info. So even if you just grab like the first 2 blurbs, it's there. Like you have to visually pass it.
And I can report back that many ladies like to laugh and they love tacos.
All right, laughing and tacos.
That's the high percentage I've noticed in the pattern through Hinge. They want someone to make them laugh and they love tacos.
Also, a lot of men, and I've seen like my friend compare this, they're always talking to the dog at the party. Like everybody says wherever the dog is, and I'm just like,
I've seen that with women
cliche?
too.
Is that overused?
It's like where to find me at a party is one of the like little things you
Oh, talking to the dog.
And my friend did like a whole story of, he's like, I present to you girls that will be talking to the dog. And he just screenshot like every single profile that he saw and put it in his stories. I was like, this is insane because I've seen this so many times too.
So do some people say, I just want to have sex?
In the actual thing?
In their profile.
I've never seen that.
No, I've never.
You've never seen that?
But based on the way that they talk to me, I can tell that's all they want.
There's been dudes who kind of go straight to the point of, what are you doing tonight? I'm going here and I'll be here at 1 a.m. So meet up.
Yeah.
Pretty straight to the point of like, there's only one thing. Like we're not getting tacos at 1 a.m.
Yeah. And they always
so
try
that
to move
happened.
away from the app. Like immediately they want your number. They're like, I hate these things. I hate these things. Like let's talk. And I'm like, no, I need to be a little bit more comfortable before I
and
give
that's
you my
actually something that I learned from Kelsey to help my toxic masculinity of just, like you need to like care about the person, because I do care.
You mean pretend to care or really care?
Well, you really care, but also like, it's not even about like not caring. It's just like not being aware of the perception of just saying like, yo, okay, cool. Hi, nice to meet you. Let me have your number.
Yeah.
Where, that's like, one, it's
also just like safety precautions. Like men don't really have to think about that all the time. So
which is
like it's being aware that she needs to feel safe to give her phone number.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which we do not think about that, which I, through different things of conversations and ironically enough through a bit that Louis C.K. does about women and about how scary men are.
Oh, yeah.
I think men are very much unaware of how terrifying it is and how terrifying it is to meet a man randomly in public that you don't know, how much you have to go through to like be like, okay, hopefully he doesn't kill me. We're just like, whatever, it's gonna be great. I'm so awesome. It's gonna be cool.
She thinks I'm funny. Yeah.
So for the ladies, do you ever think about an exit plan, or are you aware of your safety?
All the time.
Do you bring mace?
Constantly.
Like, what do you do?
Constantly.
Always a public place.
Yeah, always a really where there's a lot of people, like where you can be noticed.
So you would never go to someone's place?
It depends. I mean, how many dates in are we? And like
No dates in.
Oh, okay, first time.
I have done that before, but that was after we spent 4 or 5 hours together and we were just laughing, and conveniently he lived down the street.
Okay. So what percentage of men do you get a creepy vibe from?
I mean, if I get a creepy vibe from them, I've already gotten it before I even met them.
Right. So just from superficial interaction, pre-meeting in real life, what percentage of men, Mia, do you get a creepy vibe from? Out of 10, let's say.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
I want to say 5.
Really?
But I also, me personally, I don't like aggressive people. So to someone else may not be aggressive, but I will feel like someone's pretty forward.
That's your creepy threshold.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Kelsey?
Probably most of the time.
More than 5?
More than 5.
Really?
Creepy vibes. But it's also based on the way that they are trying to play this soft boy.
Yes.
They're almost, a fuck boy in soft boy's clothing. Where they're just I don't know. Or apologizing for saying something, or overly apologizing. That's when I'm like, something's up with this.
So not necessarily creepy, but just annoying, or
just
too passive.
Yeah. Well, no, insecure and in this really weird way where I'm not giving them a reason to feel that way. Mm-hmm. But they're if I don't reply right away, they're like, you know what, never mind. I'm just being weird. I'm sorry. And I'm like, why are you so insecure? I literally just matched with you. I'm sorry, I'm busy right now.
I was gonna say, it's like the slightest kind of hint of rejection starts to put up flags. Like, you could not answer someone right away, like, fuck you, I thought you were ugly anyway.
Exactly.
And it's just insane. It's like, I can't give you my attention right now. And you get that,
and
like,
they get like mad at
they
you.
get like offended.
There are people, I have some patients who get really defensive and really angry. They feel really entitled that if someone doesn't text them back right away, they're a total dick.
Yeah. I mean,
or they'll say, she was a psycho bitch.
I mean, even guys that I've, like this one guy not too long ago, I was in a movie. And by the way, I like kind of had like a 1 week fling, maybe like we fucked like twice maybe.
Okay.
And we still follow each other on the internet, but we don't talk ever. And it had been
That's called orbiting, by the way.
Yes, we orbit. But I hadn't talked to him in maybe a year. And I get a text from him and he's like, hey, do you want to come over tonight, blah, 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 blah. To like, you know what? I don't really care about you either. Like, I get it. I get that you hate me and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh my God. And I replied and I was like, whoa, dude, I'm sorry. I was in a movie the last 2 hours. Like, first of all, and second of all, why do you think I hate you? Like, are you that fucking surprised that I have my own life and I'm not answering a guy I haven't talked to in a year right away? Like, dude.
That is a great example.
Just like
people's pathology really screams out very quickly. Like, I could probably look at someone's Twitter account and their text profile and be able to diagnose them pretty accurately just based on how they're talking to people.
Yeah.
But I also think it's like what the internet has created.
For sure.
It's an anonymous culture, which
instant gratification.
Like, for instance, like if you met a person at a bar and you're like, can I buy you a drink? And they're like, no, thank you. You wouldn't be like, fuck you, you fucking bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you did, I mean, it happens.
It
happens, but like, the level of that, someone entitlement allowing themselves to do that would be less because it's like you have a person in front of your face.
Exactly. Right, yeah.
And I don't know what it is. It's some weird, I've experienced it, I feel it. It's like a rejection, it's a very childish thing. And actually through just talking to Kelsey, thinking about it, doing therapy, like being like, okay, this is ridiculous. It's a very hungry part of a person. It's like this very hungry, angry person that like, also knows like whatever, there's no consequences. I'm going to release my rage, my pent up rage that I've had for how many years onto this person that I don't know because whatever, it's the internet. I can just say this to them.
Right, disinhibiting.
But the problem is they're a person.
Right. How do you determine your hotness level in terms of who you feel is in your league versus out of your league?
I don't know about leagues. I know about like types of people. Like I feel like when like, you know, I see super like not my type of guy, like, you know, douchebag in front of his car, like probably only dates like tan, tall supermodels that wear mini skirts and heels, like very, very feminine women, which by the way, I wish I was like that. Like I really do. I think that's beautiful. But there are men who just match with me and I'm like, do you even take the time to like look at who I am? Because I'm not your type. Like, I know I'm not. And we're never going to actually talk on this app. Like, we're never going to talk. We're going to match if I match with you. But, like, you know, I have the wherewithal to be like, this is never going to happen. So I guess, like, it's more like in terms of types of people. But I find that men are so much more, at the time, willing to, like, match with somebody that's so not with them.
Who's more desperate, men or women?
Men.
Yeah.
All three of you say men?
I was going to let him work.
100%.
Why? Why are you more desperate?
I don't know exactly. I think because there's biologically there's probably a reason for it, but also there's just more women just
women are pickier.
They're less.
Women are the gatekeepers.
I think, women have the more power. It's easier for a woman if she wanted to walk up to a guy and be like, hey, do you want to hook up? Like, or do you want to, I mean, it doesn't need to be that extreme, but you know what I mean? Like any girl could really go up to a guy and the chances of a guy being like, yeah, that sounds great is pretty high. But a guy coming up to a girl, it's a bit more.
The chances lower, like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys are more in a desert and like someone's offering some water, you're like, oh, yeah, of course I'll have some of that. Or a girl is like in a tropical rainforest surrounded by water and fruit. And like, I'll drink water whenever I need to.
Yeah.
It depends on attraction. Like I wonder about girls that are not that attractive, if they have more of a desperation. I have noticed that, like more unattractive girls, like there's more of a desperation and a neediness, you know?
Are guys willing to hook up with girls that aren't very attractive just to have sex?
Yes, they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you say what, like 80-90% of men would just just have sex even if someone's not physically attracted to them? Do girls do that too?
I've definitely slept with guys that weren't super attractive, but they made me laugh.
Okay, so there was some appeal.
Yeah.
You weren't just sleeping with them because you were horny.
I've definitely done that, but usually when I'm sleeping with somebody because I'm horny, they're really hot.
Okay, let's talk about ghosting.
Okay.
Have you ever ghosted a woman, Morgan? Completely like dead, like just like nothing. Disappear.
I think I did once.
Just once?
Yeah.
I think you have before.
I think I have. I'm trying to think. I like kind of ghost, but then when someone will come back, I find it hard to do. I really don't believe. I believe in like the humanity of life.
You do.
So it's
you
like,
do.
if like, you
Like
know.
he'll reply to them, but there are people you definitely don't jive with, and then they might want you more so because you're not as like, you know, desperate for them.
But I think I did it to like one person completely. But
Okay, so you don't.
I like ghosted someone, but then they just replied to me now, and I replied to them. So I have an example of doing it.
Okay.
And then they just replied. They said, "How are you doing?" Like weeks later, and I did say,
But he's too nice.
I'm fine."
Yeah, you're nice. This is nothing to apologize
No,
for.
it's definitely not something to feel insecure about.
Mia, have you ever ghosted someone
Yeah.
more than once?
Like a couple people.
And why that instead of like, hey, good luck,
I mean,
nice knowing you?
To be fair, one of them was like a true ex, and it ended badly. And it was one of those, like, I don't think we should continue any form of communication at all, even though like this person had months later after the breakup tried to reach out to me, but it was such like a volatile relationship that I was like, this is just going to be a complete like silent
That's
treatment.
more boundaries. I don't know if that's
that's more boundaries.
But I have ghosted I've ghosted a girl. Yeah, I didn't know how to approach it. Girls were very new to me at the time. And
I've definitely ghosted women before.
yeah, girls were very new, and I just didn't really know where their head was at. And so I just kind of stopped because I didn't know how to say, like, I think I'm okay for now.
That was interesting and really fun, but I don't want to see you again.
Yeah.
So these were sexual partners. Mm-hmm. And same for you, Kelsey?
Yes.
Have you ghosted guys?
Yes, I absolutely have. But usually if they continue to try and talk to me after like a couple times, I will be like, hey, dude, I just wasn't feeling it. But then sometimes it's necessary to ghost because they're just so fucking like on your nuts, and you're just like, I just feel personally
intruded upon. Yeah.
Where I'm just like, if I even say anything, you're going to think just by responding that I'm like into you, even if I'm saying I hate you.
So a lot of men in my office complain that women are too nice, or they pretend to be nice, that they don't just say like, no, thank you. Like they come
that's
up
because we're afraid of being
I really hate that. It's
afraid of being killed.
Yeah,
women being honest is like really hard sometimes.
Well, that's what I want to say. And to men out there, it's like, it's 98% of the time someone just not knowing how to say something that makes them uncomfortable, not because,
they're afraid.
They hate a person or something. It's just cause men, when they get that 98% of the time, most of them, can't just be like, okay, sounds good. Right. If they got that response,
they're just so fragile.
So like if they get the response like, we don't have chemistry, unless they know something, unless they have a friend like Kelsey, like I do, where you're like, oh yeah, that means she's not feeling it. Most of the time they'll be like, well, why not? What's going on with that? And as Kelsey just said, so you're going to like have to then go invest more emotional energy into this person, where like if they could just respect the fact that you were like, no, thank you.
So if you do ghost, is it because you feel like you have to?
Most of the time,
It's not just
or
because
I'm, like,
you're
fully creeped out. Like,
I see.
where I'm just like, I don't even want to, and then I have to block them if they like continue to. I have so many people blocked on my phone.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know if it's ghosting if you have to block people, but I've had to block people. There's just people who also, you were just being nice. Like, you were trying to do the thing that they think like they would like girls to do, is be nice and upfront and kind of make it clear like their boundaries. And even doing that, I've had men think like, oh, she just must be really into me. It's like, I'm trying not to be an asshole.
Okay, yeah.
But you really think I'm into you, and now if I say like I just don't think about you that way, or like I don't feel it that way, then they get offended. Like, well, then why would you talk to me when I reached out to you, and why would you say this to me? It's
here's the thing,
because women are human beings, guys.
Yeah, here's what I really want men to understand most of the time is that a woman, like, I hate when they get mad at me for being like nice or kind or compassionate towards them, because I guess this is like, I want them to be able to see me and other people as they don't only fucking be nice to the people they want to fuck, because that's how they see it.
Yeah.
They're like, why would she pay attention to me if she doesn't want to fuck me? Like, and it's like, oh, is that how you are with everyone? Like, you only give time and attention, emotional energy to people you want to sleep with? Well, I'm not like that, and it's really hard for you to understand
Then
that.
it's used against you.
And then they get mad at you. They're like, why would you're being like that with everyone? And it's like, well, yeah, like, I'm a human being. Like, I don't know.
Morgan, would you rather someone be upfront and tell the truth, or be nice as a guy?
Oh, up front, totally. I love honesty, you know?
And do you get pissed? Do you feel...
I mean, I've gone through a whole journey of like, you know, I mean, I think there's a small child inside everybody that's like, what, you don't want to play with me? You know, or it's like, but I've educated myself, I've woke myself enough to be like, yeah, but like, whatever, man, that's how she feels. Like, that's fine. Like, and there's a lot of more people, and I prefer it just speeding up time. You know, it happened recently. I went on a date. We had a nice dinner. The next day, I said, you know, that was a nice, fun date. And the girl said, I had a really great time too. I just don't think there's anything romantic between us. But, you know, if you want to be friends, that would be cool with me. But I can understand if that's not, you know. And I was like, I felt that feeling of like wanting to know why and wanting to grill her and be like, let me know about myself. And I thought of Kelsey and what we've talked about. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I don't need to know that. I made a joke though, because I think it's always good to use humor with that. And I was like, but what? I already picked out the wedding dress. And then I said JK. And
you always leave with like a little joke.
And I said agape it is, because she was Italian. And that's it. And it's like, okay, like, why?
But without Kelsey's counsel, would you have said, well, what was it about me?
There was an extremely large impulse to be like, well, why not? Why don't you feel romantic? What was it? You don't like the way I look? Or what's the deal? Like, you know, like, what, why?
And do you think people have a right to feedback or not?
I think it's like unnecessary. It's like, dude, maybe it's not personal at all. Like, I'm just not feeling you. It's just like, why do you have to make this such a big deal?
Right. There's either chemistry or there isn't.
Yeah. And if I wasn't feeling it, also it's like kind of a turn off when a guy doesn't even detect even a little bit that you're not feeling it. That means they're like fully not even seeing you.
Have guys said to you like, well, why not? Or what's wrong? Or what did I do? Or is my dick not big enough? Or
maybe not is my dick not big enough, but I've definitely had like what's wrong? I thought we were having a good time.
Yes, you get that.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Do you get that, Kelsey?
Gotten, like, why are you denying how you feel about it? Like full blown like gaslighting where I'm just like, what? Like, where I'm so mad that I just want to like scream at them. I mean, where I'm just like, dude, just fucking leave me alone. But
that is hilarious.
Dating is awesome.
I don't know about you, but I felt that energy at dinner the other night.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, you don't know about me because you didn't fucking ask. Like,
I think that a really good way to look at it is like a bartender. Like when you go into a bar and a woman bartender is really friendly to you. And a lot of guys, will be talking to a hot bartender, and they'll think like, oh my God, this bartender is so into me. It's like, no, she's working.
She's doing
her job.
She wants tips.
So what is it in men that like there must be so emotionally vacant that a woman just being nice or kind or, you know, smiling somehow is like, oh yeah, that means this is on.
Totally will bang me. Because that's how when they're nice to people, it's because they want to bang them. That's like,
yeah, that's the impression. I mean, I have friends who have just taken to just scowling and who, like, they have it in them to just be literally, a guy comes up, they're like, fuck off. I have zero interest in that too. And I want to be that person at times. Like, teach me. I need to defend myself. But I don't know, something about it was like, but that's just too much. Like, that's just harsh.
But I think that's the equal energy to catcalling, honestly. Like, I think that's the feminine equivalent on the other side of what that is, of what catcalling is. And when men see that from women are like, oh, scared to death, because women are emotionally tend to be stronger anyway, but they keep it in a different place. And when you do that, it's like a guy's like, oh, and it's great.
The worst is when they're like.
But you run the risk with a guy, because we're psycho, that like you could do that and they can.
And they'll be like,
I wasn't even into you anyway.
Yeah.
Or
like, do you think this was sexual? I was just trying to be friends. Like,
right. And you're like,
Sorry.
yeah,
Sure.
Okay. Because 2 seconds ago you were literally like eyeing my tits.
Have you met anyone through a hookup app that you ended up in a relationship with?
No.
You?
Well, I mean, like not long term, but it was like a month and a half. I don't know if that's a relationship though.
Mia?
No.
My sister just got on Hinge. She just got divorced, by the way. And then she got on Hinge. She had been in a relationship for like 15 plus years. And she got on Hinge and 2 weeks later met like this great guy, and they've been dating for about 6 or 7 months.
Nice.
And they're like cute as fuck together.
Aww.
And I'm just like, I don't get it. What am I doing now? Like, you've been on the market for like 2 weeks and you meet this like great, well-adjusted, funny man who has like 2 kids and is super smart and works for like a good company, and like you've like found like the jackpot and you were on Hinge for like 2 weeks. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I've definitely had friends who have like gotten married from being on like Bumble. They met their significant other through Bumble or Hinge. I have friends who have like met the love of their life.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to meet someone, like a quality person, and find a partner, a life partner, what app do they use?
I've found, apparently, I had to get off OkCupid, but I know OkCupid, there's so many questions. I mean, I usually would answer them like while I was sitting on the toilet in the morning, because like you just have to fill up, the more you fill up those questions, the more likely you're gonna find somebody who matches with you, like actually percentage-wise. And anytime I would have a really high percentage, I'd like go into the guy's questions and see in certain like which ones did he answer the question that matters most to me.
I think what I've been looking at, and this is for men or, you know, I guess women too, but like if you think about when you read stories of, you know, older couples where they fall in love, how they met some interesting place, you know, how they met was a kind of
story.
Beautiful something or other. That's why they fell in love. That's why they got married. So what guy thinks that the beginning of any relationship that's going to actually matter is going to start with like you nagging and being an asshole to a girl? It's like, you know.
It's like it worked once in high school for them, so now they're doing it.
But it's also like, it's also the story of like, oh, how'd you meet her? Oh, well, I kind of like took her apart on a computer program and like kind of insulted her, and it was like love from first sight. Like it's
and then
like
she felt the need to prove herself to me, and you know, it's like what?
It's how I think of catcalling. Like when a guy's like, oh, like nice tits, or like, hey cutie. It's like, what did you expect to come from that interaction?
Yeah,
did you expect me to turn around and be like, oh my God, let's talk more?
And then they get mad at you for ignoring them.
Yeah.
Like, fucking bitch.
Yeah, like you can't win.
You're just like,
uptight.
if I even look you in the eye, you're gonna like maybe rape me later. Because you're the kind of guy that fucking yells nice tits to a girl from across the street. So if I even look at you or give you the time of day, you might fucking rape me later. Like,
yeah.
If I
Like,
look like I even liked it, you're gonna call me like a desperate hoe or something. Like, it's just so fucking
navigating it is just
it's
a
like
mind game.
I just have to keep walking.
So do you meet people in other ways?
Absolutely. I go to concerts alone a lot. I go to bars alone sometimes, depending on my mood, because I like to read in bars. I know that's weird, but like when, you know, when it's still daytime, like while the sun's going down or something, I'll like, you know, pull up a spot if the bar is quiet and like read and order a cheese plate or something. And I've found it has, like, if I go anywhere alone, it's always a good opportunity to meet a nice, attractive guy that respects my space.
A human person that you can have eye contact with.
Yeah.
How about you, Mia?
So far, it's really just through friends, like friends of friends. I think I'm still young enough where there's a lot of like, we're going to so-and-so's house, and like people are going to be there, and there's people you've never seen before, but they're a friend of a friend. So you get introduced, and like that's how the circle grows, and that's how I find I meet more people like, oh, it turns out he knows so-and-so that I work with, so we'll be seeing them there. But
is there comfort in friend of a friend?
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would prefer. I want to meet someone in real life. Like, honestly, to be quite honest, it's mostly exhausting, the dating app thing.
It's stupid.
It's exhausting, and like sometimes it's good, but it's like it's oddly not organic. It can maybe be there, but the percentage is so low. It's like when you meet someone in real life, it's
so much more exciting.
you just have the natural circumstances of your life work together better. And for me, it's really important, the social connections that person has, because I've had a lot of relationships where that's not there, where it's very isolated. And I feel that happens with the dating app a lot. You'll meet someone, it's like you don't know anyone I know, so it's kind of weird. Like, so I'm going to start dating this person, and then our social circles are completely separate. So like, yeah, we can have sex for a while, we can go out doing dates, but what happens when we have to like move to the next level of a relationship and people, and you live in a whole different world than my world, and that makes me then I don't want to see this person anymore, because
also,
like
I feel like humor translates better when you meet the person organically. Like, some guys just don't get my humor, and I'm not going to explain it to them. Like, if they get it, they get it. If they don't, sad for them. But like, I don't know. I feel like in person, people can really read your humor. And if you are being sardonic or like, you're pretending to care, apathetic, but you're kind of like there, but you're kind of making fun of like your whole situation, then they like get the humor. But
a lot is lost in translation,
which actually is very frustrating, because you're like, you're yourself and you're on this weird program, and then you're expressing it, and then someone could just be very judgmental about who you are.
Totally.
And then you have to start being like, what, is there something wrong with me or something? Like, and then, 1 out of 10 times you get the person, you can make a joke, they get it, you're like, okay, I like this person. But oftentimes, because who knows who the personality is of the person you're matching, they totally don't even understand you, and they're like, then become like, it makes you question yourself, where you're like, okay, is there something wrong with me?
Then they project this idea onto you. Like, this guy was like, can I be honest with you? If I don't come off as creepy, and I'm like, oh great, this is like the worst way to start.
Great lead in.
Yeah, like great lead. Like, that means you're probably about to say something creepy. And then he was like, I detect like a lot of sadness in you. And I've been like talking to this guy, like we met on Hinge, like there's nothing. And he's like, I just detect like, obviously you're very like sensitive to, I think when people are intimidated by you, like just analyzing me.
My God.
And I'm like, dude, how can you detect sadness in me and like say that like, I said to him, I was like, be careful not to project your idea of me onto my real self.
Good for you.
And he was like, I don't think that's what I'm doing. And I was like, really? Because we've had like maybe 3 exchanges on here. And then when I said, why do you detect sadness? He's like, your tattoo in limbo. And I was like, that's a Radiohead song. And he was like, yeah, but obviously it has meaning to you. And I was like,
wow.
like,
profound, dude.
Like, just shut the fuck up, dude. Like, just chill out. Like, why are you like projecting? Like, this is the worst. When you go on a date, guys do not even care what you're actually like. They're just like, I really like you. Like, they'll interrupt you to be like, you're so cute. And you're like, I'm just talking passionately about something, and we met about 10 minutes ago, but like, you really like me? You don't even fucking know me yet.
Right.
Yeah. But they don't care to get past that.
Right.
They just like this idea that they've formed of you in their head, and they're not going to try and get to know you because that's irrelevant to them.
Can you relate to that, Mia?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there have been guys who I will just be like, we've been in a group and I've been saying something like, oh, I'd love to go to that concert, or I love this group. I love that about you. I'm like,
yeah,
we just
where
met.
they're almost like pat you on the head. It's like a verbal patting on the head. Like, oh, but it was her. She's like strong.
Yeah, every answer I gave was like, that's amazing. I love that about you. It's like, this can't be the answer you have to everything I say. It just got like too much. I was like, what do you mean?
Is that just like a line to get in bed?
I don't know.
I think it's like maybe trying to be nice.
Get me in bed, like
it's to me, it's like them trying to indicate that they're listening, but not really listening. Like they don't really care for the answer, but they heard it and they want you like to encourage your answer.
Yeah, or it's like the whole like it's almost like you're not like other girls. Like you're special. You like care about stuff, and usually that's
you're
like a
different.
red flag. Because if they say like you're not like other girls, it's usually a red flag because that means they're judging like your entire gender and they think everybody's lower, but you're like higher than
you've
the
passed
rest
the bar
of them. Like,
to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think women can say that though. You're not like the other guys. I feel like that's something.
I've never said that to a guy.
I don't think I've ever said
No,
that. Yeah.
I guess I'm wrong. All right.
There's research that shows that in modern times, sex comes before dating. That people have sex together to decide whether or not they want to date, whether they want to introduce each other to their friends, whether they want to go out to dinner.
Seen that.
It's flipped. It's like you don't get to know someone and then see if you want to have sex. You have sex and then see if you want to get to know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you agree that that's a trend?
Totally.
Which I don't think is good though.
Why not?
Because I think sex is a chemical inducer in your brain, and it's like doing drugs. It's like meeting someone and doing a bunch of drugs with them, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I like this person because we got high together, but then you don't really know them. And if you slowly get to know the person, and also how much more, I don't know. I think love is birthed better from really getting to know someone and then having sex with them. But
I think the sex is better too if you know them.
I think so.
What do you think?
I think
the sex is better.
It all depends. Like it gets better as you get to like liking each other.
Yeah.
And like usually if the sex is good and they're cool, it's like, well, I want to keep doing this. And then you feel like more free in bed, so the sex gets better. As opposed to like, I've like fallen in love before having sex with somebody before. And like the day I told him I loved him, we had sex. I liked at first that it wasn't based on sex and that like we were very real with each other, but eventually it was like, I just want you to fucking bang me. Like
I hear that a lot from women, a lot.
Like, why are you being so like gentle and like, like just like sometimes I just want to fuck, and
hey,
it's
you
like,
just want to get fucked.
Yeah. And like I feel like a lot of men don't realize that. Like
I hear that from a lot of the wives that I treat they'll say their husbands are too tentative or too passive or too gentle or too loving. And they're like, I just want to get banged.
It's like, sometimes I just want that. Okay.
But have you said that? Did you say it?
Yeah.
Or did you just leave it as an unknown variable that the person had to figure?
No, I've totally said it. I mean.
And then what happens when you say that? They just try to bang, or they're just like, oh, okay.
It's like, okay. Well, like maybe he wasn't in that. Like him and I didn't have like a fucking fuck fest relationship.
Yeah.
So.
Can't get enough of Morgan, Kelsey, and Mia? Neither can I. Tune in next week for part 2.
You've been listening to Sex Savvy. If you find value in this podcast, please like, follow, share, comment, or review on your favorite podcast app. Your participation helps keep Sex Savvy free and available to all who are interested. Kimberly and the entire Sex Savvy team appreciate your loyalty and support.